Have you ever noticed that adventure sounds a lot cooler when you say it out loud before you actually do it? Like, I'm riding the Chattahoochee BDR X. Yeah, that rolls off the tongue, like I actually know what I'm doing. Truth is, it's just me, a motorcycle, and the optimistic belief that I still remember how to pick this beautiful Touareg up if it takes a nap on a rocky rut. There's something about the name Chattahoochee that already sounds like an adventure. It's got that rhythm, like it was made for motorcycles. I mean, I rode the Chattahoochee sounds way better than I got lost in Georgia again, which honestly is probably a more accurate description. This BDRX is a 350-mile loop through some of the prettiest and occasionally most questionable terrain in the Southeast. Dirt roads that twist as bad as your lower back does after 200 miles in the saddle, fast and flowy forest trails lined with pine needles, the occasional creek crossing that makes you question every decision since breakfast, and the curvy tarmac sections with beautiful views that take your breath away. But that's the magic of it. Out here, your cell service disappears, but your sense of adventure reboots. There is something deeply satisfying about riding at my age. No schedules, no group chatter on the comm system, no social media, and no one to judge your soundtrack when you're belting out 80s rock under your helmet. Just you, the growl of the motor, and occasionally a thought like, did I close the garage door this morning? The Chattahuchi BDRX isn't a race, it's a rhythm. You roll through old towns with names that sound like characters from a fantasy movie. Elijah, Dylan, Dahlonega, such as Hiawassee, and so on. You pass front porches where folks wave slow, like they're in no hurry to see you go. And then bam, a stretch of loose gravel that reminds you that traction is a privilege, not a guarantee. At some point, you realize this isn't just about riding roads, it's about riding time. Every turn, every bump, it's like flipping through the pages of your own story. You think about all the miles behind you, not just on the trip, but in life. You ponder all the bridges you've crossed, all the valleys you've struggled through, all the mountains you've climbed. You wonder what lies ahead. You know, just around the next bend. Are we still speaking metaphorically here? I don't even know. What I do know is that I'm riding, and the wind is my therapy for the day.
In ancient Greece, learning was sacred, a calling of the mind and the heart. Beneath open skies, mentors shaped young souls for lives of purpose and wisdom. Today, many families still seek that same connection. They travel. They face challenges. Some children need a different rhythm, a quieter place to learn. And parents feel the weight of that responsibility deeply. At the Oaks Private School, faith and education walk hand in hand. For more than 20 years, we've partnered with families around the world, guiding them with accredited distance programs, online or traditional, rooted in Christian values. We believe every child is created with purpose. Through learning at home, guided by love and supported by expert teachers, your child can grow academically, personally and spiritually. From the wisdom of the ancients to the promise of tomorrow, the Oaks Private School is the global answer to all your education questions, rooted in excellence, growing minds worldwide.
People always ask me, don't you get lonely riding by yourself? Well, sure, sometimes, especially when you do drop your bike on that rocky slope and realize you have to be your own rescue team. But there's a strange kind of peace in that solitude. When you're out here, the noise fades, the mental kind. Life is hard. Your brain gets cluttered with worries and woes that really don't matter in the long run. Thoughts that nag at us like a broken record invading our gray matter and dragging us down. When you're on a motorcycle, your brain is fully engaged with the moment. Let's face it, it's focused on keeping you alive. When you're riding on a bike, you start to hear the small things again. The wind in your hair, the sunlight dancing through the leaves, the throbbing engine below, the crunch of your tires as you dig into the gravel around each corner. And maybe that's why I keep doing it, because at 25, I rode to discover the world. At 55, I ride to discover myself. Of course, it's not all zen and sunsets. Georgia Clay doesn't care about your spiritual journey. It's slicker than a politician at election time, let me tell you. I had one section where the trail turned into what I can only describe as swamp adjacent. The front tire dove left, the rear tire went right, and I performed a graceful pirouette that would have scored a solid 8.5 in the Olympics. If they judged on embarrassing grunting, of course. And yet, that's part of the charm. Each little fiasco becomes a story, proof that you were there, doing the thing, instead of just watching it online. Riding a motorcycle has been described as being in the movie, as opposed to driving a car where you're just watching it go by on the screen. Then there are the quiet moments that sneak up on you, like when you're the only soul that pulls into Van Zant's Grill for breakfast that morning, and the kind lady with the southern accent brings you a second giant stack of fluffy buttermilk pancakes on the house just for being there. How about watching the sun set behind you as you crest the rocky ridge at Nimblewheel Gap, the sky bleeding orange and gold through the evening fog and fading light? Or greeting an old farmer at a gas station who tells you, "You're the first person I've seen come out of that forest trail in years." You nod, smile, and say thanks while your GPS is frantically rerouting you in panic mode. There's a certain beauty in not knowing exactly where you are, only that you are exactly where you're supposed to be. After a few days of dust, sweat, and questionable snack choices, the loop comes full circle. The Chattahoochee BDRX spits you out right where you began. But you're not the same rider you were back then. Riding alone doesn't mean being lonely. It means carrying the weight of your own silence and realizing it's not heavy after all. If you're over 50 and thinking you're too old for this kind of thing, forget it. Your knees might creak, your back might moan, but adventure doesn't check birth certificates. It just asks if you're willing to turn the key and go. So yeah, maybe I rode the Chattahoochee BDRX alone, but somewhere out there between the gravel and the trees, I realized I wasn't really alone at all. So go on then, no matter how young or old you are, make your life an adventure, hit the open road, and head for the Chattahoochee BDRX. You just might find yourself again.